Hello friends, I'm Saket Bansal and in this video I'm talking about Scaled Agile Framework. Scaled Agile Framework helps us in scaling Agile. The term scaling means different things to different people, but most of us understand scaling means how do we work Agile working with more than 9-10 people. Most of us understand that framework which helps 100 plus more people working together mechanism is one of the scaling framework of Agile. The another dimension which many consider while they talk about scaling is how do we make an alignment between an enterprise level strategy and the execution done at the team level. Scaled Agile Framework also addresses that dimension. It gives us a mechanism by which the enterprise portfolio program strategies, work items get aligned with the team level development things. Let's look at the framework and let's start with how do you organize people in Scaled Agile Framework. In general Agile and Scrum, we have small Agile or Kanban teams who are delivering things at an iterations and guided by Scrum Masters or facilitated by Scrum Masters, and requirements are identified, prioritized by the product owner. It works good till the time you have 2-3 teams. When you have more than 5-6 teams, you may find one product owner not efficient to provide answer to all the teams, and he may not be expert because the system is becoming bigger and it has multiple dimensions. So in order to manage the bigger team environment work, in Scaled Agile Framework we have a layer called program management. This layer has a role like product management. The product management role is a kind of central or a program level requirement or content identification and prioritization role. So they provide the guideline to all the product owners who are working in the respective team. When we have more than 5 teams, we may also need some sort of chief scrum master who can maintain, who can handle the conflicts which are coming amongst team, who can remove impediments at the program level. So in Scaled Agile Framework, we have a role called release train engineer. So in a general thing, you can think of that the product owner is getting scaled by putting up a role or a structure called product management at a program layer, and these product management guys will work in coordination, in close coordination with the product owners who are working in the teams. And similarly, the Scrum Masters is getting facilitated at a program level by release train engineer. He is like a program level release train engineer in case of Scaled Agile Framework. Now, when we have a smaller teams and they can keep thinking about architecture and design, and in Agile we do have a principle which talks about the best architecture and design emerges from self-organizing team. But when we have more than 6-7 teams and they are working for a common system, there may be a need for aligning their architectural work. In order to bring an architectural alignment and provide an architectural level guidelines, in Scaled Agile Framework at a program level, we have a role called system architect. Now, many of you may feel that teams should be able to do those architectural related decisions, but considering the scale, one team may not be able to visualize the impact their architectural decision will make on the other teams. Having a system architect at a program level does not mean that he is the one who will create the complete architecture. He is there to just ensure alignment for the common goal as far as architecture is concerned. At a program level, we also have some few other roles. One of the role which I wanted to talk about is a business owner. Business owners are the type are the key stakeholders who works with this particular group and provide them business related inputs. They help product management identifying the right features for this particular solution. And we do have a system team which primarily helps these teams to integrate their work in order to develop or deliver the overall integrated softwares. So now the structure looks like that once we have more than 5 teams, we may group them or we may put in another type of a team which is a program management team, and these teams will coordinate and work with the rest of people. It does not mean that these guys can't talk to each other. Whenever needed, there should be a communication mechanism on which all these teams can also interact following the protocols agreed and which works for that given team. In order to think of a scaling, this size should not go more than 125 people. So the way we say that in Scrum we can have say 3 to 9 people in development team. At the same level, when we think of a one program team, this program team can go up to 125 people. In general, such kind of structure may not make sense till the time you have a minimum 50 people. So in case of a SAFe, a one group which is guided by these program management people is of 125 individuals. Now you may think, what if I need 500 people? So if you need 500 people, you create multiple program layers. So it's like that you create one more program group, and this program group will also have 5 to 12 teams, 125 people, and on top of it, you may create another layer which is called value stream. Now this particular layer only exists when you need more than 125 people for your system. And at this particular layer, you may have similar kind of roles who are ensuring that multiple program groups or multiple big teams remain in alignment as far as content or the features or requirement is concerned, as far as system architecture is concerned. And definitely we need a Scrum Master at value stream level, which is called value stream engineer. So at a value stream level, we have three primary roles which we should be considering: value stream engineer, solution management, and solution architect. Solution management works with product management, and product management works with POs, product owners who are at the team level. So this kind of structure helps us in keeping an alignment even with 500 plus kind of team size. These whole three layers are guided by the right priorities, and the priorities can come from portfolio group. At portfolio level, we may have enterprise architects, we may have epic owners who are thinking of new initiative, and we also have a one group called program portfolio management who looks at the overall budgeting and evaluation of various big initiatives. So it's like these guys are more focused on where to allocate money. So they are looking at their money and their pie and thinking which value stream, which stream should be funded. Now let's talk about little bit SAFe terminologies. In SAFe terminology, this particular group is called Agile Release Train. What does it mean? The people who are sitting at program level and below are called Agile Release Train. So this group is one train, this group is another train. And so when we visualize the value stream, we can think of value stream like this, and it is having multiple trains. So train in case of SAFe is also called ART, Agile Release Train. We can visualize it 50 to 125 people, and they are the one who are working, committing, executing their work together. If you have need of more people, you create a value stream, you do have a value stream, and you put multiple trains and put these particular roles who takes care of it. Great. So by this discussion, I am assuming you got a good idea about how teams are getting organized in scaled agile framework. There are few more roles which we are not discussing here, because at a first level those things can make you a bit confused. Now let's look at the mechanism. How do we start working? Okay, we have a people, we understood that this is how we will organize our teams. What kind of iteration we follow? Do we still follow time boxing? The answer is yes. In Scaled Agile Framework, we have two levels of time box. Our first time box, which is primarily at a program level and value stream level, is called program increment. The program increment by default is of 10 weeks. So it's like, it can be between 8 to 12 weeks. You can think of, it's a big planning, doing, and inspecting and adapting cycle. And at this particular level, lot of like 125 people come together and they work and plan for this 10-week window, this program increment window. And this is the cadence. So what does it mean? It's not about what all work you have to do. It's all about this is the time box we have. And inside this time box, we try to fit as much work we can. You may release in between, or you may take another time box before you make the commercial release. It's just a container in which we will do the development. So we have a first container which is called program increment. Now, working with Agile, you might have already observed that, okay, we don't work for 10 weeks sprints or iterations, we work in 2 weeks iterations. Yes, so there is another smaller container for, or a smaller box for teams which is of 2 weeks. So in a simple language, we can think of the program increment. If it's a 10 weeks is increment, it will have 5 iterations. So each iteration will run for 2 weeks, and overall in these iterations we are trying to create what we have thought of, what we have planned of for a given program increment. So we discussed about role, we discussed about the time box and the mechanism we want to follow, or the cadence we want to follow when we follow Scaled Agile Framework. Now the question comes in, how the work, how the content starts flowing to this development team. I usually give a metaphor that now you have 125 people. They are sitting at various floors. Each team is sitting at a different floor. For example, just for a visualization, and you have made them clear that what they have to do. You have identified these roles which are at a centralized level now, and you also told them that you will be working at 10 weeks PIs, and inside you will do a 2 weeks iterations. Now they ask, okay, what should we work on? We are ready. And here comes the planning part of Scaled Agile Framework, or the content, or before planning we can think of content part of Scaled Agile Framework. At a portfolio level, you will keep getting a lot of new initiatives, new ideas, and these ideas are primarily guided by organization level strategies. So organization strategy is something which is telling us, okay, we want to go in Internet of Things. In next 2 years, we want to put everything on cloud. Mobile is coming, mobile is happening. So these kind of themes which organization may be following guides the decision at portfolio level. So these themes, these guidance are not decided in this Scaled Agile Framework instance. They are decided somewhere outside at board meeting or at investor sessions or somewhere else. But they influence our big initiative evaluation. So at a portfolio level, we use a term called epics. Epics are big initiatives which requires sufficient amount of business case as understanding, and they are something like, before I commit to it, I should be able to see that does it make sense. And there are people at a portfolio level, program portfolio management level, who take this epic to a multiple reviews stages, which we manage through a Kanban board in order to create a visibility, and things which get approved, that these are the big initiatives, yes, you can go ahead with them, rests at portfolio backlog. So we have a top level backlog which will have big epics and maybe technical features as well, which are called enablers. Enablers are something who will be enabling the future epics delivery or the current epics delivery. These are technological big initiatives. So they sit here and they have been through the Kanban and process. They are prioritized based on the return on investment, and they promise to bring to the group. Now these epics will get decomposed into relatively smaller than epics capabilities. And these capabilities flows back to the value stream. So at a value stream level, if it exists, like the value stream level only comes into the picture when you are working with more than 125 people, and these epics cannot be taken by the train directly. You need a capability backlog, and from there only it can get distributed to multiple trains. So here comes the second level backlog, which is called value stream backlog, and value stream backlog will have capabilities. So capabilities, here you have a portfolio backlog, here you have a value stream backlog. Now value stream backlog also, like items before reaching to a value stream backlog, also goes through a Kanban process in order to ensure that they are well defined as per the expectation at value stream. Now from these value stream capabilities, depending upon the capacity available at a train, means 125 people, things will fall back, things will come in their backlog, and we call them features at this level. They are expressed in the form of benefits and phrases, and the feature is a marketing term, everybody understands them, and we call them the program backlog. So here you have features. So it's like we have 125 people waiting for the work, and before we made them ready for starting up their work, the portfolio group, the value stream group, and program management group have been working, okay, this is the type of work we want to get done from this group of individuals. They have not yet started in this flow. We are just talking about the top level work, and finally we have reached to a level where 100 people too can see that, okay, this is something we have to work on. Now, what do we do next? How do we start this PI work, program increment planning work? The thing starts with something called program increment planning meeting. So program increment planning meeting can be visualized as a big meeting where all the 125 people, or if you have a value stream scenario, some of the representatives from value stream also participate, and they all come together and think, what can we do in next 10 weeks? So at a PI planning meeting, my input is this program backlog which has a features, because this is something my big team has to deliver, and the 10 weeks window which I have available as my PI duration. It is like a big iteration. So we all 125 people come together, and we may end up doing 2 days long meeting which has lots of breakout session, which has lots of interdependency identification events. We also do our capacity planning, and we figure it out that from this program backlog what all can be done in this 10 weeks window. The result of this exercise results into something called team level PI objective. So it's like once we are done with it, each team will get PI objective. Now we may have 6 to 12 or 5 to 12 teams. Each team will pick up their PI objective from this 2 days meeting. It's like, okay, out of these 10 features, my team can do 2. I pick it up, and these 2 features becomes my PI objective. So in the same way, different teams picks their work, and they say, okay, we are going to deliver this. This PI objective is not expected to be a detailed plan. It is at an objective level. It's not a detailed breakout of user stories or tasks. It's a summary level. Many times it is just a features or some specific business thing which everybody appreciates this team should be working on. So we come up with a PI objective and we come to our team area. So it's like all team members who stayed here for 2 days, and after taking PI objective, they go home or they go to their own floor and they think of, what do we do? Now we have this PI objective for 10 weeks. How do we work on it? And here comes the team level backlog. So we will have team level backlogs which will contain all the work the team is thinking of doing in order to achieve the PI objective. If something is missing in team backlog, it's not there. Team backlog does not mean it's a commitment. The team is only making commitment for PI objectives. This is always an opportunity. We are thinking of doing all this which is there in our team backlog. So it's a day 1 of this 10 weeks window, and you have a team backlog in your hand. What do? You do a planning meeting the way you have been doing in your Scrum. So inside this 2 weeks window, you start with your planning meeting, and you run your daily stand-ups, etc., all Scrum ceremonies inside this particular 2 weeks time box. And things never goes as per plan. It's not like that we have done 10 weeks planning and this release train engineer, product management system architect will now relax. They will come back after 10 weeks. Life is not that simple. During the iteration execution, we will have frequent inspect and adapt meetings, which are fine-grained coordination meetings in the form of Scrum of Scrums. So we can have a Scrum of Scrums of Scrum Masters, we can have a Scrum of Scrums of product management. These are the meetings which ensures that the content and interrelationship among the team is going as per our plan, or if it requires adaptation, it gets adapted. Similarly, the impediments, the issues raised or found during the sprints get discussed in Scrum of Scrum Master. At this particular level, we may also have a release management meeting which primarily focuses on commercial releases which we want to make at the end of a PI or during some time of this program increment. So there are coordination and collaboration meetings which are happening at a program layer where representatives from different teams or 9-10 teams are coming, and similarly there are the coordination meetings happening at the team individual levels. Doing all this, you produce a working software. So the way we do in Scrum, you come up with a working software at the end of sprint. So each team produces their part of working software. So it's like I picked some work, I decomposed that into a backlog, then I further created a sprint plan meeting, and I made some software at the end of the sprint. And what do? This software is not necessarily is a demoable at a program management layer. So we have a dedicated or say identified role which is called system team, and their role is they pick up this components work and they integrate it and make it a demoable increment of system. And at the end of a iteration, they pick up this work and they start showing it at program management layer. In this particular, there will be something called system demo, and in this system demo, people who are like business owners, product management, and other really program level stakeholders can get a feel of integrated increment. It's recommended to have a continuous integration throughout the working, but at least at the end of the sprint, at the end of a 2 weeks iteration, SAFe recommends to have a one integrated system demo from the complete program team. Or program team, agile release train, or it's like 125 people working together. Now you may think, okay, it may take some time, like I may finish my sprint or iteration on Wednesday and I may not be able to give this demo on the same day. Yes, it may take some time, initially maybe more weeks. So there could be a time lag between the team level working software demo and a system demo. Team level working software demo is primarily attended by respective team stakeholder, whereas system demo is by the program team. So this way we keep planning and we keep doing things for fourth sprint. And at the end of a fourth sprint, so you may have at each thing you will have a demos, and you will end up having 3 demos, because I'm talking fourth demo is a spatial demo. So at the end of every sprint you are giving a demo, third demo you give it in a fourth sprint. Now fifth sprint is a spatial sprint, and we call it innovation and planning sprint. The first thing to think about is we don't do any development work expected to be new development work in a fifth sprint. This is kept to innovate, to do hackathons, to do spikes, and also to do a planning for the upcoming program increment. So the program PI planning meeting which we did in the beginning will happen in the fifth sprint going forward. So at the end, we want to show a complete work done by this group in a big demo, and many times it is called inspect and adapt event, and you can think of the output of a fourth sprint goes here and we showcase it to a bigger stakeholders, and this is like an output which is coming from the complete PI. And this demonstration happens in a fifth sprint. All 125 people are expected to attend it because everybody should get the system thinking. They should know where the system is heading towards. So this is a big event. And the another thing which we do in IP sprint is the PI planning. The 2 days PI planning is also done here. Many times if you are doing commercial releases, that IP sprint also may get used for doing some level of validation, some level of user acceptance testing, and those kind of stuff can be done in IP sprint. A lot of PI planning, estimation, refinement of features into a smaller features, and running some spikes to understand can we estimate the during an upcoming PI happens in IP sprint. So this is the mechanism by which we keep working. We keep committing our work for 10 weeks. So in rather saying 10 weeks, it's more like a doing work for 8 weeks and then again thinking what all we will be doing for remaining 8 weeks. If you have a value stream layer, these big demos also need to be given, recommended to be at least once in a PI. We call them as solution demo. Now solution demo is different than PI demo or system increment demo. The way we were talking here that the remaining 8-9 teams work should get integrated. When we talk about value stream, multiple trains, so multiple programs work. If I have 500 people working together, the 5 teams, all 5 teams work should get integrated and should be presented at solution demo once in 10 weeks minimum. So it can be done frequently, but yeah, once in 10 weeks you should be doing it. When we are thinking of a value stream level planning, the PI planning which we are doing for our own program may also get influenced by value stream level planning. And that is why at a value stream level, we do have a pre-PI planning meeting and post-PI planning meeting. It is like if we have 3 teams or 5 release trains, before they get into their detailed PI planning, they all come together, they do pre-PI planning, they understand what we want to do, they go into their own PI planning, they elaborate everything, they may face some challenges, and then they bring feedback, all those things together, and they share in a post-PI planning meeting. So this is how, in general, the Scaled Agile Framework works. It was a brief attempt to make you aware of all the 4 layers of Scaled Agile Framework. The complete framework is freely available at scaledagileframework.com, and you can also explore some of our trainings which we do on Scaled Agile Framework.